Hi, everyone. Today is Sunday, August 9th. And the other day on Friday, I was talking to um, the school director, and we were talking about my upcoming classes and scheduling for September to next June. And so I'll be teaching English, music, and art. And there was also, since I had been uh, last year, um, like in the last hour, while there were students before they were picked up at 3 o'clock or before they took the transportation at 3 o'clock. Um, I just keep an eye on those students. But towards the end of the year, I was noticing that as I had some of the instruments, like the guitar, or um, some of them were interested in bringing their own instruments, and when we were a little bit outside of some of the classes, they were coming up and wanting to learn some things like a guitar. And so this weekend I picked up some more instruments, and so this is my first ukulele. I've been learning how to get some chords on it and figure out the fingerboard. Um, I'm much more familiar with the guitar and the bass and violin, but I'm able to start picking up a couple things with the chords and trying to get an idea of some chromatic changes as well. And I also picked up um, a kalimba, I think it's a harmonium or melodica. That's like a piano, and you are blowing into it, so it has the something kind of like the harmonica, kind of an accordion kind of a sound with the reeds that are vibrating. Also a accordion, so it does have the bellows and has maybe just one diatonic scale and like a C and G for accompaniment, just to get a little bit of a feel for the mechanism as a little bit more as a kid's toy, but for that mechanism. And then also pick up a recorder, so it's meant to be chromatic compared to, for example, I've got a tin whistle that's in D. It just has the six holes. It doesn't have a thumb on the back, and that it's mainly diatonic. However, there are some like half um, kind of coverings on some of the holes, so you can kind of cheat a little bit on some of the be able to get from D to G or D minor a little bit. But on the recorder, yeah, you are able to get from like C to C and go chromatically. Some of the fingerings are a little tricky. There's these little two holes on the bottom, which are able to get some of the sharps and flats. Trying to get that second octave, but it needs a bit more control. Also a xylophone, so um, there's that. What else? Yeah, so the ukulele, xylophone, the kalimba, the accordion, the melodica with the blowing into it, and the recorder. So yeah, I picked up about six instruments and just yeah experimenting with some of these ideas. And I was looking at there's one channel, this one late night show host, Jimmy Fallon, and he has a whole playlist of kind of classroom instruments with some famous musicians and kind of this kind of acoustic version of their song, and also kind of like what kind of combinations can you get. So I can see that in the videos. They do have the ukulele, they do have that melodica, they do have a xylophone, they've got a lot of the percussion instruments as well, like the shakers and tambourine and maybe like a wood block or like a bass drum and um, or some other um, percussion sounds as well, triangle, and so it creates an interesting mix sound of these accompaniments and reorchestrations of these songs that have probably been on piano or guitar, bass, and drum kit. But this is giving me some ideas to hear some of these combinations. And then I've been also looking at some like history evolution of different instruments, and um, there's some interesting YouTube channels where people have just experimental creating instruments, PVC pipe, I've seen that one, or just creating new things, or even mixing and matching mouthpieces or like pistons of trumpets with other things, or mouthpieces of a saxophone, or the embouchure mouthpiece of a trumpet, and some of the brass instruments, and kind of seeing what happens if you mix and match them. And yeah, getting an idea of like what happened with, I don't know, the like euphonium, which is a brass, and then I think out of sax, put maybe something of similar of like a clarinet um, onto that, and that then became the saxophone, and then that got expanded out to some of the instruments, and then now there's other channels where people are like, I wonder what would happen if I took the embouchure of like a trombone or something and put it onto a baritone sax. And so it's kind of going full circle on like that was possibly like a brass instrument, then it got swapped out with a reed mouthpiece. So, or even a reed mouthpiece onto a flute, or um, doing some other things like that. So it's interesting to see how people are creative, and it's all sound and sound experimentation, and sometimes there's tradition, sometimes there's creativity. Like I wonder what would happen if I did this, and so then get to like the 1960s electrifying guitars, and then you get electric guitar, and so and now we get a lot of digital sound effects and things, and so it's just a never-ending cycle of mixing new, going back to what is the what is sound, and what if I add another string? What if I change the tuning? So um, there's there's no real end to the creativity we can get for just mixing and matching sounds, or and just letting our creativity expand. So it's had its effect, exploring these different sounds, and I also even went back into like I've had this harmonica for a long time. I'm gonna say at least 30 years, but I never understood the layout. And so with some kind of YouTube videos of dissecting it, like, okay, how is it made? And then this idea of these reeds and the in and outtake, I understood that part, but just like where are the notes? And like, okay, the beginning, there is one arpeggio, and then at the top another arpeggio, but in the middle you can get some individual kind of uh, back and forth, like the main scale that can be kind of diatonic, and then expanding out on these chords. So understanding how that works with the notes, and then from there, seeing how the accordion also has the bellows system with the reeds, and then also with the melodica, also with reeds, but now it's chromatic with the with the white and black keys, basically from like a 2 octave section of a piano. um, and now, yeah, just expanding some more of these instruments that I have, and experimenting with them, and maybe getting some ideas of, hey, maybe that could go with this, and or maybe taking some familiar tunes and just expanding on that. But yeah, it's giving me some feel for my creativity again. Whereas sometimes the piano guitar, I'm like, I need something fresh, or something just to kind of, I wonder what that would sound like, or what would happen if my fingers are unfamiliar with an instrument. So yeah, the ukulele, I have to re rewire my brain to kind of how do I get these sounds to work. But yeah. Hola a todos, hoy es domingo, es el 9 de agosto y hoy recibí unos 6 instrumentos que pedí en línea, de como ukulele, el xilófono, el grabadora o grabador, kalimba, o la melódica donde como respiramos y tiene la vibración con el viento que va y que viene y me recuerda que, bueno, yo tengo esta armónica durante más de 30 años, yo creo, pero por fin estoy entendiendo cómo funciona y hubiera buscado mucho más antes, pero pues ya con varios instrumentos de esos sonidos o cómo mezclarlos y con la idea de que en este próximo año escolar voy a estar enseñando música y quiero transmitir un poco más esa creatividad o esa curiosidad sobre como qué es el sonido, cómo podemos obtener sonidos de percusión o una membrana que vibra, o con los labios, esto como es la vibración de esa membrana y eso se transmite a través de los tubos o um, varios instrumentos así, o si no hay algo que vibra y que se va como clarineta o es el viento con flauta o son las cuerdas que pueden ser como la familia de como violín y etcétera, o guitarra que está con los dedos o diferentes maneras o con como arco. Entonces, estoy muy interesado ahorita de cómo explorar eso de los sonidos y ver qué puedo enseñar a los alumnos en la escuela y que son instrumentos que son accesibles para sus papás si quieren invertir en la compra de algunos instrumentos que pueden traer y practicar en la casa también. Entonces, esas son unas ideas para ahorita. Bonjour tout le monde, aujourd'hui c'est dimanche, c'est le 9 août et aujourd'hui, cet après-midi, j'ai reçu plusieurs instruments que j'ai commandés en ligne et donc ça c'est ma première ukulélé et je commence à comprendre où sont les notes et les accords et comment expérimenter. Sinon, autrement, j'ai acheté aussi une euh, melodica, donc c'est un peu le mécanisme d'une harmonica avec, comment ça se dit, qui vibre et ça change avec le sens de l'air et aussi avec un accordion ou aussi avec cette harmonica, non, mélodica, où on respire et puis on peut jouer avec les touches blanches et noires. Un xylophone, le kalimba, ça c'est intéressant comme son, et aussi le flûte recorder. Donc j'essaie de mélanger un peu ces idées et voir qu'est-ce que je peux enseigner cette année à l'école avec la musique et aussi l'idée de découvrir le son ou avoir un peu de curiosité avec les instruments. Euh, voilà, c'est tout pour aujourd'hui. Hallo an alle, heute ist der 9. August, Sonntag und ähm, äh, heute habe ich einige neue Instruments für Musik und zum Beispiel Ukulele. Das ist mein erster Ukulele und ich lerne schnell für ähm, Melodie und Chords und ich habe auch jetzt Xylophon und ein äh, ähm, kleine Akkordeon für Kinder und auch Quarter, Kalimba, Xylophon, Melodica und ich hoffe, dass ich kann etwas lernen für Musik in der Schule dieses Jahr und vielleicht sie sind ähm, Instruments, dass die Eltern kann einfachlich zu kaufen und ja, das ist alles für heute. Ciao a tutti, oggi è domenica il 9 agosto e oggi ho ricevuto alcuni strumenti musicali per prima volta, per esempio ukulele e altri strumenti che posso insegnare per bambini, per cominciare a conoscere la musica e il sonido e scoprire come fare insieme musica e spero che possa essere interessante per i studenti. E questo è tutto per oggi. Всем привет! Сегодня воскресенье, это 9 августа. И сегодня у меня новые инструменты для играть музыка. И это, например, это мой первый укулеле. Я знаю играть гитару, но сейчас я должен думать, как делать это, но это быстро сейчас, и также у меня несколько инструментов, что я могу учиться в школе, и надеюсь, что это будет интересно студентам. И это все на сегодня. Большое спасибо. Пока.